What's up, everybody? My name is Dana Harris with Young Gurus Math Tutoring, and I'm here to drop some more math jewels. In this particular lesson, I'm going to be talking about simplifying radicals with variables and exponents included. Now, we're going to keep it to just square root in regards to the radicals. So let's go ahead and get into the examples. In example 1, I have the square root of 192 t squared. All right. Now, remember, there's a rule that says that when I have this expression under the radical, I can break it down into factors. And I want at least one of those factors to be a perfect square number. Watch what we do. So we have, this is the same thing as saying the square root of 64 times 3 times t squared. All right, so we have our three factors. Now we're going to separate them into different radicals. So we can take this and say the square root of 64 times the square root of 3 times the square root of t squared. All right, now 64 is a perfect square number, and the square root of 64 is 8. T squared is also a perfect square number because it's some number taken to the second power. And this square root as well as the exponent of 2 are opposites. So you're left with just t. And then we have the square root of tree under the radical. So here's our final answer for this particular example. 8t times the square root of tree. Now, in the next example, we have a little something different. This particular example, we're going to add an exponent of a higher degree. So we have the square root of 54 n to the 7th power. All right. Now, we're still going to do the same thing. We're going to take this and we're going to break it down into the square root of 9 times 6 times n to the 7th. All right. Now, we can actually break that down a little further. So it's actually square root of 9n to the 6 times 6n. Okay. So there's multiple ways you can break this one down, but this is the one we actually want to look at. So we're going to separate those radicals, and we're going to say the square root of 9n to the 6 times the square root of 6n. Now, pay close attention. N to the 6th power, actually, anytime you have an even exponent, if we divide it by the root, it's going to give us what that square root is. So even though there's no 2 there because we don't have to put a 2 for square root, 6 divided by 2 is going to be n to the 3rd power. Okay, so the square root of this is actually 3n to the 3rd power. And just as a sidebar, by our rules of exponents, if I have 3n to the 3rd power, we square that. 3 squared is 9. And then n to the 3rd times 2 is n to the 6th, okay? See my video on exponents if you need that. All right, so then we're left with just 6n. All right, example 3. I'm going to put a slight twist to it. Negative 2 times the square root of 343y cubed. All right, notice we have this negative 2 on the outside already. So we still want to break down what's under the radical into factors, but we want one of those factors to be perfect square, at least. So I have negative 2 times the square root of 49y squared times 7y, okay? Remember, y squared times y is y to the 3rd power, and then 49 times 7 is 343. Okay, so we're going to still break this apart. We're going to say 49y squared times the square root of 7y. Now, this is not the only way to break this down, but we'll keep it this way to keep it simple. Okay, so 49 is a perfect square number. All right, so I have negative 2. The square root of 49 is 7. The square root of y squared is y. So this is going to give me 7y. Notice I put it in parentheses because when we take out this perfect square, we have to multiply it by this number that's already out here. 7y is in simplest form, so we keep that like that. So then now for my final answer, I'm just going to multiply the negative 2 times 7y, which gives me negative 14y, and then times the square root of 7y. Okay, so that is another example. This time we just simply put a number on the outside of the radical, but remember, it's still the same process. You want to look for factors of this expression under the radical and break it down into factors that have perfect squares. Remember, Young Gurus Math Tutoring, do me a big favor. Share and like this video. Also, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. And I also want you to go to Instagram and follow me on Instagram at YG Math Tutoring, as well as on Facebook. Young Gurus Math Tutoring is our Facebook page. Thank you for watching, and I hope to continue to provide the solution to your math problems.